happy that judgment has been granted and we have been vindicated in our case.
Former People's Democratic Party spokesperson Ondo State to spend 7 years in prison, convicted of stealing government fund.
This is a permanent infrastructure. People will remember him for it.
President Buhari inaugurates iconic development projects in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. Plus, more than 6,000 women and youth benefit from federal government's empowerment scheme in first phase of pilot program. Good evening and welcome to the network news tonight. I am Kene Ima Abonike. Reading with me from Lagos is Hengino John Adams and Zulay Mohammed in Kaduna. Two iconic projects, the Ore flyover interchange as well as Ondo Lane Industrial Hub, have been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. The projects executed by the Akeredolu administration are aimed at enhancing job opportunities and socio-economic development of the Sunshine State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo was there.
It was a massive show of solidarity, support and indeed adoration for President Muhammadu Buhari as he arrived Ore, home of bitumen and commercial nerve center of Ondo State. The president is here to inaugurate the iconic flyover interchange along Shagamu-Ore Benin Expressway, otherwise called Redemption Bridge, connecting the southwest and southeastern parts of the country. President Buhari commended Governor Rotimi Akeredolu for executing the project in line with the spirit and drive of his administration, which places great emphasis on the provision of critical infrastructure, especially in the area of transportation.
I followed the road and I have seen the problem, and I congratulate the governor for his success story, identifying his strategic position and the investment he has made for Nigerians and I think for himself, because this is a permanent infrastructure. People will remember him for it.
Before this redemption bridge, a lot of carnage happened as our people try to traverse from the south to go and do business or for any other thing in the central or north. We gave promise when we were campaigning and we decided we must keep the promise. So that's why the Olora is here. It's a promise made, a promise kept.
During the event, the president assured the people of Ondo State that the federal government will meet its obligations to the state on the construction of the project aimed at easing traffic congestion and boosting economic activities. President Muhammadu Buhari also inaugurated Ondo Lane Industrial Hub in Odigbo local government area of the state, a public-private partnership investment between the state government and a Chinese consortium. The industrial hub will not only deliver inclusive growth, create job opportunities, but also enhance the economic fortunes of the Sunshine State.
I take this opportunity to commend the investors who saw Nigeria and Ondo State in particular as a viable investment destination. I want to assure you of our continued support, both at the federal and state level, as we move forward to the next phase of this project's life cycle. I am confident through this project, based here, will utilize locally available raw materials to create jobs for young men and women, increase knowledge and capacity, and support our import substitution policies.
Was massively subsidized for establishment of this Ondo Industrial Hub with the understanding that the people of Ondo will be the primary beneficiaries. The potentials of industrialization in Nigeria is immense, and we pride ourselves in Ondo State that we are the eating treasure of Nigeria.
Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, supported in solidarity by his counterparts from Ekiti, Ogun and Ondo States thereafter conducted President Muhammadu Buhari round some selected factories in the industrial hub. These include the high-density fireboard and paper factories, the largest cassava to ethanol plant, as well as the win-win textile factory. President Buhari, who appreciated the show of support by the royal fathers in the state, asked them to sustain collaborative efforts with the state government for the desired expansion and success of the critical investment. President Muhammadu Buhari has since returned to Abuja. Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Turning to the judiciary, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has sentenced a former spokesman of the PDP, Ondo State, to 7 years imprisonment after finding him guilty of stealing government funds. Justice Okonabang also orders the winding up of his company, Destra Investments Limited. Olabode Arewa reports.
Delivering judgment, the court held that Olisametu erred when he unlawfully collected 400 million naira from the office of the then National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambuda Securitat, without executing any contract. The court also held that Metu laundered $2 million through his company, Destra Investments Limited. The court accordingly sentenced him to 7 years imprisonment. Also, he is to pay 375 million naira to the coffers of government, while his company would pay 25 million naira fine, in addition to being wound up. The sentences are to all concurrently.
We are happy that judgment has been granted and we have been vindicated in our case.
This is a good example of a bad judgment. And we have our appeal in our hands. I still have confidence in the law court. And we are heading upstairs to the 3 wise men to know whether he is right or wrong.
Olisametu had argued that the 400 million naira was for certain security services on behalf of former President Goodluck Jonathan. But the court held that there was no documentary evidence to support such claim. The trial had been on since 2015. In Abuja, Olabode, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Buhari Media Organization, BMO, has described the conviction of the former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Olisametu, for receiving about 400 million naira from the Office of the National Security Advisor as another proof that the anti-corruption war of the Buhari administration is on course. In a statement signed by its chairman, Niye Akishiju, and Secretary Cassidy Madueke, the BMO says this latest conviction should serve as a cautionary note to public officers, or rather to public office holders, to be mindful of the sacred trust they owe the people when in office and always utilize public funds according to the laws of the land. The media organization notes that due process was followed in the conviction of Olisametu, stressing that any country worth its salt must always adhere to the rule of law. The statement assures that all the monies recovered from looters will be channeled into developing the country's dilapidated infrastructure. The Plateau State High Court sitting in Jos has granted bail to former governor of the state, Jonah David Jang, and his cashier, Yusuf Pam, on the case of diversion and misappropriation of 6.3 billion naira being charged against them. The presiding judge, Justice Christina Dapope, who just took over the case, said the bail is still based on the existing bail bonds granted by the former judge who handled the matter. Ejoma Ozemena takes it from here.
It will be recalled that retired Justice Daniel Longji, who bowed out from the bench on the 2nd of January 2020, had ruled in December 2019 that Jonah Jang and Yusuf Pam had a case to answer. The case was now reassigned to Justice Dabob of Court 4, where all the 17-count charges were read to the 2 defendants, who pleaded not guilty. The charges ranges from 2 billion naira for procurement, misappropriation of 2.750 billion naira, and another 2 billion naira, as well as diversion of 46.7 million naira, among other monies. Yusuf Pam is being charged with the misuse of 10 million naira which he withdrew from Zenith Bank into his accounts, being money belonging to the Plateau Universal Basic Education for teachers' salaries and others. When the case came up for mentioning, the prosecuting counsel, Mr. Atolade, who held the brief of Rotimi Jacobs, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, urged the court to permit him to read the amended charges for the accused persons to take their pleas for last year. Counsel to the first defendant, Edward Pajok, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, explained that it was not an amended charge, for it is starting afresh. Counsel to the second defendant, Sonny Ode, in the alleged criminal breach of trust, noted that he did not have any objection since the case is starting afresh. The trial judge, Christine Dabop, directed that all charges not amended should be read to defendants, which they pleaded not guilty. At this juncture, counsel to Jang Edward Pajok applied for bail and told the judge that the lead prosecuting counsel of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, Jacobs, had earlier agreed that he would not oppose the bail application for the defendants. The court granted the defendant bail on the existing bail conditions and adjourned to 26th, 27th, and 28th of May 2020 in Jos, Ijoma, Ozemina, NTA News.
As a way of improving the capacity of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Anti-Graft Agency is affiliate in the EFCC Academy to Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Aliyu Tukur was at the signing of a memorandum of understanding to that effect and now tells us more.
With these signatures and warm handshakes, EFCC Academy and ABU Zaria are now cement twins. This partnership will now see the EFCC Academy to run certificate, diploma, and postgraduate program in courses such as forensic accounting, digital forensic, forensic science, law enforcement, and criminal justice administration. This is aimed at improving the fight against corruption by ensuring that the menace of corrupt practices are inculcated into younger generation to rid the country of the vice.
The Ahmadu Bello University is going to award the degrees, but in conjunction with the EFCC Academy.
This is very, very important. We also want to collaborate. Collaboration is the main thing. We want to collaborate with everybody so that less people even accept that corruption is wrong. So it's very, very necessary. Educating the people, sensitizing, creating awareness, making people feel responsible in the fight against corruption.
ABU Zaria is the second university to enter into partnership with EFCC after University of Abuja.
To other matters now, towards the implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Program, 3 states, Adamawa, Nasarawa, and Plateau, have been penciled down and evaluated for the program. Consequently, these states have been directed by the Ad Hoc Committee on National Food and Security and Farmers' Headers Crisis set up by the National Economic Council to submit their programs and costings for the implementation. Chairman of the subcommittee and Ebonyi State Governor Dave Nweze Umahi, after the subcommittee's meeting with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, explained that the nation will benefit from the project and that the country's GDP is already improving.
The expectation is, we have clear mandates. One is that, this program is going to, resolve, to a very large extent the farmers' headers conflict. And so if we revive some of the grazing reserves, especially in the north, for willing states, we're going to see this conflict come down. And then also a modern way of, cow rearing for greater benefit. These are things we expect to see.
And now to the National Assembly, where the Senate has urged the Chief of Army Staff to establish a military command base in Garikida community in Adamawa State, attacked by gunmen last week. This followed a motion of urgent public importance moved by Senator Aishatu Dahiru, which stressed the need for the establishment of the military base in all communities bordering the Sambisa forest. The motion called on the Northeast Development Commission to immediately commence a rehabilitation and reconstruction of structures destroyed, while the National Emergency Management Agency should immediately assess the extent of damages and provide relief materials to those affected.
We embark on rehabilitation of public and religious institutions destroyed and provide assistance to other individuals affected.
In the village of Bang, in Numan local government, where 2 people were also killed. Mr. President, it is important that the issue of security be addressed frontally.
We are not going to rest on our oars until we are able to provide solutions to the insecurity in the country. This is the essence of our being in government. And of course, it will require that we work with House of Representatives and the Executive as well as citizens.
The legislators, through a motion by Senator Teslin Folarin, urged the Nigerian Police, the Federal Safety Commission and vehicle inspection officers to immediately clamp down on trucks and articulated lorries without the minimum prescribed levels of lightening and other road safety requirements. A little bit on security. The Nigerian Air Force says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has destroyed some Boko Haram terrorist structures and logistics facilities at Garu, Maloma and Parisu in the Sambisa Forest General Area of Ondo State. In a statement by NAV Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibukule Daramola, the airstrikes were executed on 23rd and 24th of February 2020 as part of the ongoing Operation Rattlesnake 3, based on incredible intelligence reports indicating that elements of the BHTX that carried out the attack on Garikida in Adamawa State originated from camps within the Sambisa Forest. Consequently, the ATF dispatched 8 attack aircraft to both locations, destroying several structures housing the terrorists, as well as some of their logistics stores, which were seen engulfed in flames.
Morning before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. So in our family, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time. Everybody dance now.
We are the strongest, no challenge can stop us, oh Lord, and we are the brightest, no darkness can blind us, we are the strongest.
Malta Guinness is packed with B vitamins to fuel your greatness.
Cheetah International Hotel, pleasurable evolution you can't resist. A concept delivered. Cheetah International Hotel brings you face to face with an unimaginable experience you can't erase. You'll like to come again and again. One thing you will hate is to be told the story. Another thing you will love is to be part of the story. You are looking for where your gain equals the cost. Break even with Cheetah International Hotel with our world-class event center that is set to blow your mind away. A world-class arena equipped with top-notch facilities, syndicate boardrooms, hall 1, 2, and 3, underground basement hall, gallery, and many more. Located on plot 224, Solomon Law Way, Utako District, Abuja. For more information on your highly distinguished hotel services, call 081-007-1882 or 081-007-1883. Cheetah International Hotel, a place where your history and future is made.
Welcome back. We are not yet done with security matters. Let's now tell you that the Nigerian helicopters, including Mi-35, for the ongoing crackdown on bandits tagged Operation Gamma Aiki in Niger State. Mokhtar Abubakar Wawo reports that the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, disclosed this while on an inspection visit to Niger State.
Some communities in 7 local government areas of Niger State in recent times have come under a series of attacks from bandits, which resulted to loss of lives, while more than 10,000 persons have been displaced. The visit of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, to the state gives a ray of hope to the affected communities, as he assured of the Nigerian Air Force commitment to work closely with other security agencies in tackling the internal security challenges. Air Marshal Baba Abubakar inspected facilities including an aircraft used for the training of special personnel on aircraft hijacking at the 013 Quick Response Force, Nigerian Air Force, Mina. While at the government house, Mina, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, says the Air Force has deployed a fighter jet and combat helicopters to give support to the ground troops in tackling the activities of the bandits, and promised to provide medical support to the internally displaced persons.
I want to assure you and the government and the people of Niger State that the Nigerian Air Force will continue to do everything humanly possible to ensure that we give the support that is required to have a very secured and safe Niger.
Governor Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State described as terrifying the last few months in the state, while reassuring total support to the security operatives in ending the security challenges in the state.
We have never experienced such security challenges in Niger. We just started recently and it came in heavy on us. Shortage of manpower and the size of state made matters worse.
The visit of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, is coming barely 24 hours after President Muhammadu Buhari met with the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police and discussed security issues. In Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
More than 40 million micro, small and medium enterprises have so far been captured into the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency's database. The focus is to get as many MSME operators as possible registered and supported, with the aim of realizing the desire of President Buhari to take 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. State House correspondent Jide Odifade reports.
Relevant stakeholders in the MSME clinic converged on the Office of the Vice President for critical analysis of their activities in order to chart the way forward in achieving set goals. Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katagum, says the meeting deliberated on new ideas on how to leverage on the MSME clinic to render assistance to operators across the country.
In terms of impacting on the economy, we see it in terms of the number of new MSMEs that have come on board. We see it in the number of exports. We see it in the number of new products that are in the market, because of course we are talking about local content. People are taking our own local materials and making products that are sold in the Nigerian market. So to that extent, there is a big impact.
So far, the MSME clinic has held in 26 states of the Federation, and the next one is scheduled to take place in March this year. The meeting was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Let's make another stop at the National Assembly, where the Senate has continued with its intervention in ensuring that all revenues due to the federal government are remitted into the Federation account as and when due. This time, the legislators are calling for the digitization and automation of collection and remittance of withholding tax as a way of checking fraud in the system. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports.
Shortly after entrance procession by the presiding and principal officers, the Senate settled down for the first plenary of the week. Legislative intervention in federal government revenue generation was the first motion on the order paper. Senator Uche Ekwunife moved the motion, which aimed at employing modern tax solutions and information technology in checking tax fraud.
And in meeting the federal government's drive and quest for increased and enhanced internally generated revenue at all levels of government.
Let's employ technology to make sure that every kobo that is supposed to go to the coffers of government goes into the coffers of government.
Senate thereafter mandated its committees on banking and finance to carry out investigation on alleged non-remittance or on the remittance of withholding tax due to the federal government.
To investigate this matter and ensure that all withholding tax revenues on both bank deposits and dividends are recovered and report back to the Senate in 4 weeks.
The Senate has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to reconstitute the Federal Character Commission as the tenure of the present commission elapsed in 2018. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Unko, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is seeking alteration to the Constitution to provide immunity for presiding officers of legislative houses. The bill, sponsored by Representative Olusegun Odebumi, calls for alteration of Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution to enable extension of immunity to presiding officers of the National and State Assemblies. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Arm of government, legislative arm of government, is the only hand that signifies the democracy in the nation all over the world.
If it's for presiding officers, then I cannot preside over this bill because there's an inherent conflict of interest.
The bill generated debate during plenary as House members gave diverse views.
So I think we should jettison it and withdraw it completely because it will be sending wrong signal.
The simple, noble objective is to provide protection as well for leaders of our institutions because they are leaders of very pragmatic and important institution of democracy in Nigeria.
The executive arm of government, they have immunity. Even the judicial arm of government, they have immunity, they have judicial immunity.
It passed second reading and was referred to House Committee on Constitutional Review. Other bills which passed through second reading include a bill seeking a change of name for Federal University Oye-Ekiti to Adeyinka Adebayo Federal University, as sponsored by Representative Adeyemi Adaramodu, and the bill to establish Maritime Development Bank from Representative Mansour Soro. Among motions adopted are the call to deploy security personnel to areas facing kidnappings and armed robbery in Abia State, as moved by Deputy Chief Whip Nkiruka Onyejocha. A need to halt incessant attacks by gunmen in parts of Delta State from Representative Ejirogene Waive, and the motion from Representative Yusuf Buba urging authorities to provide security in Garikida, Adamawa State, which was attacked by Boko Haram insurgents over the weekend.
Places of worship, markets, shops, homes, police stations, and barracks in the town were destroyed and burned down.
Apart from Garkida, in the last 4 weeks, Your Excellency, villages around Chibok, like he has just described, villages in my constituency, Ngulde, Askra, were also attacked.
The lawmakers, following a motion from Representative Ania Kanumana, want the National Boundary Commission to help bring to an end the lingering border dispute between Akwa Ibom and Abia States in view of clashes that have claimed lives. In the meantime, the House has urged the federal government to appoint federal commissioners from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory into the Federal Character Commission, as moved by Representative Onyime Idem.
For some years now, that commission has been running without commissioners. The only one standing at the moment is a commissioner from Zamfara State, and he has been appointed as the acting chairman.
The House considered 3 bills at the Committee of the Whole. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has reiterated the federal government's commitment to make the creative industry a viable sector. The minister stated this while endorsing a planned roadmap for tourism development by the Director General of the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation in Abuja. Anthony Forsen tells us more.
Describing NTDC as a pivot upon which tourism in Nigeria sits, the minister said the creative industry has emerged as the nation's oil of the future, given its enormous potentials and the generation driving it.
NTDC is not just the apex organization for tourism, but it's actually at the center of all of these tourist activities.
The minister said with Nigeria standing as a nation to be reckoned with in all spheres of the creative industry, it is only natural for the tourism sector to set the tone for investment in line with its visa on arrival policy.
Our visa on arrival policy has actually opened the tourism industry in a manner that has never been happened before. To start with, any African today can travel to Nigeria and at the port just apply for his visa.
Director General Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, Folon Shokoka, told the minister that the corporation has consciously studied the operational needs and focus of the industry and discovered that the roadmap is the only way forward. He was, however, quick to solicit for the minister's intervention on a bill yet to be assented to.
The beauty about NTDC is whatever the federal government spends money on benefits NTDC. If the Minister for Power builds a new power plant, it's for Nigerians, but it benefits tourists. If there's a new road, it benefits tourists. Anything that is done for the betterment of the life of a Nigerian also affects the lives of the tourists. So all those things are pluses for us in NTDC as well.
To this end, the DG said plans are underway to seek funding collaboration with government and non-governmental organizations who will want to be visible on the NTDC platform, given its wide reach out. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
A national action plan for the coordination of disaster management is underway as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development engages stakeholders to strengthen Nigeria's capacity for effective disaster management. Ruth Aguela reports that this was at a two-day stakeholders meeting in Abuja to meet the set objective.
Disaster is not anything anyone envisages, but it is inevitable. Nigeria is said to be among countries at risk of crisis and disaster, a situation that has raised a lot of concerns on the part of the federal government. Consequently, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is adopting a strategic approach by engaging stakeholders for a collaborative framework that will strengthen the capacity of the country to effectively manage disaster risk.
Disasters and their potential for large-scale devastation have to be managed as a matter of urgency. Achieving success in the management of disasters in Nigeria requires proper planning and multi-sectoral approach.
This singular effort, I am sure, will strengthen our activities in search of solutions to all challenges inherent of disaster management.
As such, there is great opportunity to build stronger integrated mechanisms to reduce the risks and enhance preparedness to disasters.
A common understanding is expected to be reached at the end of the two-day summit to inculcate the global best practice. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NT News.
The threatening impacts of substandard and counterfeit drugs in Africa's health delivery system has become a major scourge that requires continental approach by key players in the sector to address. Abubakar Usman Akwanga was at the 3rd Annual African Medicines Quality Forum, where experts are meeting to strengthen capacity for laboratory check on drugs.
About 70% of drug consumables on the African continent are said to be manufactured in foreign pharmaceutical industries. This makes it difficult for proper quality and control system to be carried out. But the narrative is about to change as key players in the health sector in Africa are developing comprehensive frameworks for laboratory and post-marketing surveillance to close the gap.
I want to charge you to map out strategies for strengthening national quality control laboratory infrastructure and system.
This conference is coming at the right time as scourge of standard and falsified medicine is hampering safe healthcare delivery in Nigeria and many countries globally.
Nigeria is presently moving fast in curbing the menace through NAFDAC established 7 laboratories across the country.
We've got to have the capability to test whether these products are fake or not fake.
Minister of Health Dr. Osage Ahenare and other players drew attention of the regulatory bodies across 43 countries in Africa on information sharing to stem the tide of substandard drugs.
Provide governments with reliable data on distribution of substandard and falsified medicines.
It's not only to network, it's to share ideas, it's to share best practices because we have to borrow from those who are doing it very well.
The vision of the forum is to perfect quality medicines in Africa through technical working group of the African Medicines Regulatory Harmonization. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with top banker and stalwart of the All Progressives Congress, Sir Mark Wabara, as he turns 69 on February 26. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari salutes the Abuja State-born insurance and banking expert who grew up in Yoruba land, schooled in Sokoto and studied at the University of Lagos, thus making him a well-rounded Nigerian. President Buhari wishes Sawabara many more years of greater service to his community, state and motherland, extending congratulations to his family, friends and associates on this auspicious occasion. Let's now join Hingino in Lagos for more reports.
Kukene and a warm welcome to Lagos. Let's begin here by talking about maritime security. Ending criminality on the Nigerian waterways and the Gulf of Guinea has been a focal point of national security as it houses critical assets and serves as a gateway to economic development. Nigeria is therefore strengthening its fight with the Deep Blue project, under which several vessels have been acquired in anticipation of its full operation.
In 2019, there were 35 actual and attempted piracy attacks in Nigeria, a figure lesser than 48 recorded in 2018, according to Statista. The International Maritime Bureau also reveals that the waters off the Nigerian coast experienced the highest number of piracy attacks globally in 2019. Challenged to reduce this figure, the Deep Blue project was conceived to enhance surveillance, better secure, and boost maritime trade. The acquisition of two special mission vessels, DB Abuja and DB Lagos, are part of the solution. Several intervention platforms, including land, air, and maritime assets, are to be acquired.
In the entire deployment, we are going to have 17 fast intervention vessels. We're going to have helicopters, 2 helicopters, special purpose. We're going to even have UAV, that the one you call drones, in this. So the build up, we are gradually assembling, the necessary assets.
Definitely it's going to add value, to the existing security architecture and the maritime domain.
Both vessels and other critical assets still being expected.
Welcome back. The federal government is developing for effective border management control to tackle infiltration of the nation's territory. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, disclosed this while inaugurating facilities donated by Huawei Technology Company to Ogedengbe High School of Science, Ilesha, Osun State. Femi Afariogun completes the report.
Ogedengbe Science High School in Ilesha, Osun State has about 700 senior secondary school students. Lack of equipped science laboratory, good toilet facility, adequate water supply and electricity had been a daunting challenge for the school. All these are now hotel as the Minister of Interior, Mr. Rauf Aregbesola, facilitated the retooling of the school's laboratory with modern apparatus, provision of water supply and sanitation infrastructure, among others.
Installation of electricity will further enhance better performance of our students in their science practical exercise.
The minister believes that with these facilities, the students are encouraged to become inventors, scientists, and IT experts.
Yes, it could be small, but it's my joy that we have not lost focus of our primary interest in revamping education in this state.
The projects donated by a technology solution company, Huawei, is aimed at giving back to its host country.
Huawei will like to encourage the students of this great school to keep working hard.
At least once per term, we'll be coming to see that everything is well maintained.
The total cost of the project is 18 million naira. From Ilesha, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
6,110 Ondo State citizens are now beneficiaries of the 900 million naira worth of the federal government empowerment scheme. The program, which was flagged off in Benin City, is to enable those at the grassroots have direct contact with the federal government. Good Luck and Aini reports that Ondo State is among the 8 states in the country selected for the pilot program.
Beneficiaries of the program wait patiently to receive the good news from the president. The program is in 3 categories. First is the special public works that involves 5,000 beneficiaries. 1,069 were empowered with direct cash banking of free interest loan of 10,000 naira each, while the other category were given various equipment as incentives.
Thank God I have qualified and I was given this for organizing a machine.
I'm so grateful. May God continue to bless our president. I be a trade woman. I want to put on job money trade.
As much as he's concerned about the rich also, he's also very concerned about how to reach the very bottom of the social ladder.
Ondo State is one of the 8 states that was singled out for this program in form of pilot state.
Governor Godwin Obaseki is elated by the gesture. He assures the presidency of the state government support to make it succeed.
This is not a program where you just go and sign at the end of the month and take money. If you don't come to work every day, if you don't do a particular assignment, you will not be paid at the end of the month.
The program is to last for 3 months. In Benin, good luck in Aini. NT News.
Zulay in Kaduna has the next report.
Thank you, Kenneth. Good evening and welcome to Kaduna. How to effectively engage women in the fight against corruption is the focus of a 2-day stakeholders meeting on gender and corruption held in Kano. Participants drawn from the 30 states of the Federation and other development partners dwell on the causes of corruption, its manifestation, and ways of curbing the menace. Johannes Hassan Barrow has the details.
Has been identified as major storm block towards achieving 2030 agenda for sustainable development and the aspiration to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. The National Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with development partners, conducted a survey on the ugly trend and how it affects the populace.
There's a slight decrease, but statistically significant decrease in terms of citizens being exposed to corruption in general. There's quite some encouraging decreases with regard to some specific public sector agencies.
Women at the receiving end, and that is why this program is timely. It's aimed at sensitizing women to join hands in the fight against corruption.
Halima Ahmad Jabiru from Nasarawa and Rita Anyi from Cross River State are among the participants who traveled hundreds of kilometers to vote on the report of the recent survey conducted on corruption in Nigeria.
Few of our women that have been at the end of affair have disappointed the women. So it is good that women have been carried along.
As the need to educate the men, their children, men and women, to do away with this level of corruption.
Participants at the meeting are optimistic that involving women in the fight against corruption will no doubt minimize, if not bring to an end, the menace in Nigeria. In Kano, Johannes Hassan Barrow, NTA News.
And that's our bit from here. Network News continues after the break.
The people and national security is the focus this week on NTS Tuesday Live.
Those behind it want to cause confusion, cause commotion, retard progress, do all that is negative.
Tune in for insightful and thought-provoking deliberations on best practices across shades of opinion. Don't miss it.
Hey, where's your mom?
Today is her toilet day.
What?
Helen!
Toilet day? Tomorrow you're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation. Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with all this, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible!
Challenge? New Ticker Harpic 10X. Even if you use this solution 10 times, it won't give you the same cleaning like Harpic. Its new Ticker formulation sticks to the bowl better, removes old stains, and gives you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow!
New Harpic 10X gives me the freedom from toilet day. New Harpic 10X for 10 times better cleaning.
Sports update is next. We begin with good news as Nigeria's Ofyong Edem on Tuesday qualified for the table tennis event of Tokyo 2020 Olympics after beating Fadwa Garci of Tunisia 4-1 to reach the women's singles semi-finals at the ongoing Top 16 Cup in Tunisia. The Confederation of African Volleyball and the Nigeria Olympic Committee have pledged more support for the development of volleyball in the country. This comes on the heels of a recent donation of equipment by the bodies to the Nigeria Volleyball Federation in Abuja.
If you don't have a grassroots development program, you will not be able to have a replacement, and which is very important. And that is the reason why all this equipment I get them for the Nigerian Volleyball Federation. They are very, very important, and I believe they will use all of it judiciously.
In the meantime, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, says combining education with sports will go a long way in helping young athletes to excel in life. The minister was speaking at the graduation of young footballers of the Africa Sports Development Center in Abuja.
Sports constitute one of the major economic drivers of prosperity, and I think it is within that context, in tune and in realization of that commitment of the President, that we must be seen to do our very best in terms of driving the process of employment creation, in terms of driving the process of national development.
Empowerment program should begin to incorporate athletes, because in those states the traditional perception has always been sports is passion.
16 young footballers, including one from Ethiopia, graduated from the 3-week course aimed at helping the students blend sports with education. With Sports Update, Kenan Ima Abodike, NTA News. That concludes NTA Network News tonight. Thanks indeed for watching. My name is Kenan Ima Abodike. Do have a good night.